Okay, so we are back. It is Wednesday, May 20th, and we're looking at the second part of solving single step or one step equations. Go back and make sure you review yesterday's lesson where I give you some of the main ideas. We're going to jump right in here. So our instruction for all of these is to solve. So solve for y, solve for x, solve for x. The big thing we're going to focus on today with a couple of the examples, just because I want to save space, is we're going to check our answers by verifying. Check by verifying. So verifying is when you see if your answer actually will satisfy an equation and make the left side equal to the right side. If it does, then you know your answer is correct. So I'm going to move along here. There might be a few tricks up my sleeve, you never know. This one's a little bit different. You haven't seen an equation like this. This one has a little extra step to do because these terms here can be combined. So these 3 plus -7 on one side of the equal sign, they need to be combined first before we can move on and solve. So every once in a while, we get a little trick like that. And now we can start to separate. So 3 plus -7, whoops, is -4. -4, that's, doesn't look like a 7. -4 is equal to y plus 2. So now what we'll do is we'll start to separate. Sometimes you see teachers do this instead of writing things out. Your high school teachers might do that, take -2 because it's attached to the y by +2. And then these will create a solution. So this, by the way, -6 is y is the same as saying y is -6. Okay, so we think y is equal to -6, and we're going to verify by substitution this time. Verify by substitution. Now, you guys know what substitute means. If you order some groceries online and they don't have the product that you're looking for, a lot of times they'll substitute the one that you ordered with something that's similar or the same product but a different brand. That's when something takes the place of something else. Sugar substitute, like Splenda or some of those other ones, they take the place of the sweetener, okay, in the recipe or in the ingredients of a product. So substitution is just where you allow what you think the answer is to take the place of the variable in the original question, and you ask yourself, will it be equal? So 3 plus -7, I'm going to put a question mark over here because that's the whole point. Will that be equal to -6? So I'm going to substitute that in, plus 2. So when I do the work on the left-hand side, will that equal the work on the right-hand side? So 3 plus -7 is -4. And -6 adding only 2 more is -4. So you can see the left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side. I always like to just put a little flair on here and use my check mark for the word verify. So this is how you can show your work to verify your answer. Sometimes you can do that in your head. And but if you are asked to verify your answer, you do need to show a little bit of work to see what your thinking was. All right, let's continue on with the second example. Remember, we're going to preserve equality between the variable and everything it's attached to. So this expression, -2 plus x is equal to -12. So what do we have here? Is the operation addition or is it subtraction? This is kind of a tough one here. So remember, the idea is we want to eliminate this -2. So the way you eliminate a -2 that's being added to something is by adding -2. The opposite of add or subtract to is add to, and we have to make sure we do that to both sides. So this is my action here. That's the opposite. So of course this will become 0, and x will be equal to the answer for -12 plus 2. And now you know why I gave you so much practice with integers, okay? Because integers are the name of the game. I feel that x is equal to -10. So I'm going to verify that solution. I'm going to see, is this the solution to this equation? So the way we'll do that is we will take the original one, and instead of x, I'm going to write negative 10 in here, I'm going to ask myself, will that equal negative 12 when I work it out? Well, if I started with negative 2 and I added on 10 more negatives, that would give me negative 12. And sure enough, that does equal the right-hand side. So it is verified, and we know our solution is correct. Okay, one more example for today. This one's got some subtraction. So x is attached to a negative 7, which means we need to add 7. Okay, we need to add 7. So here we go. We're going to take x is equal to 5 is my solution. That's what I think the answer is. I better verify it just to make sure. Maybe, I don't know. So let's substitute this in and see. I think x is equal to 5. So 5 subtract 7. Does that equal 5? 5 subtract 7 is negative 2. And negative 2 does not equal 5. What in the world does that mean? You see, the whole point of verifying and checking your answer is to see if your solution is correct. If you verify your answer, and you go to check it, and the left-hand side does not equal the right-hand side, then you got the problem, senor and señoras, señoritas. You got a problem. And that means you must have made a mistake somewhere in your work. So sure enough, when I go back and I check here, oh, the mistake I made was I didn't keep things equal. I added 7, but only to the left-hand side. I forgot to add it to the right-hand side. Oh, if I would have done that, I would have seen that x is actually equal to 12. X is equal to 12. Oh, how could I have done that? So x is equal to 12. Then if I substitute that in, 12 subtract 7, does that equal 5? Yes, it does. So there is a point to verifying your work. You check your answers by verifying. It could save you a lot of grief in the long run, especially once we get to two-step equations. So make sure you do today's work. Watch yesterday's video if you need a little bit of review, and keep sending those assignments back to me. I'm going to ask you to please do me a favor. Only send me back one assignment at a time, because it's very difficult for me to go back and figure out which one is which. And I would rather you do one assignment, from 2 weeks ago. Send it back to me with the label on it so it's easy to find. Okay? Have a good day.